Good evening to everyone. Today we will start about the class 28 of the ongoing classes series, that is about the grinding, then uh, chopping, pelleting, roasting up about the feed block as per the syllabus what it is given by the Karnataka Public Service Commission. Then, what is the definition of all this grinding and other thing is it is the application of, or it's also called as the feed processing or chemical, biochemical, biological and engineering techniques to increase the nutrient utilization of the feeds and fodders in animal system for development of livestock and poultry and other industries. So, a little brief about the history of this feed processing in different countries. The American Association of Feed Control Officials (AAFCO) was established in 1909. Then, the AFMA, American Feed Manufacturers Association, was founded in 1909 in Wisconsin, and its name was changed to American Feed Industry Association (AFIA) in 1985. So, the feed industry that existed in India in the year 1961, and then the establishment of feed plants in different parts of the country took place, like the Louisiana, then Punjab. Then Compound Livestock Feed Manufacturers Association, or it's also known as CLFMA, was formed on 8th June 1967. Then few of the definitions as AAFCO. So a complete feed is the one which is nutritionally adequate for animals other than human beings. Then by specific formula, compounded to be fed as sole ration, and it's capable of maintaining life or promoting production. That is without any additional substance is called as, or except water is being consumed. So this is the definition. So in the examination there may be multiple choices about the definitions also. So the compound feed is a sole ration capable of maintaining our life and also for the production, and the all actual principles should be put inside it. Then the concentrate, many times we also say the concentrate and refuges. You know that the concentrate is a terminology that is used for the feed, that is used for the balance of the total and intended to be further diluted and mixed to produce a supplement, or also a total mixed ration. Then supplementation, a feed used and with another to improve the nutritive balance or performance of the total and intended to be one fed undiluted as supplement. So feed supplements are different. Then offered free choice with other parts of the ration separately available for further diluted to mix to produce complete feed. So as a definition, a concentration is a feed used with another to improve the native nutritive balance of total and intended to be further diluted and mixed to produce a supplement of the complete diet. For example, the maize is mixed with the GNC, then rice bran, wheat bran, urea, salt, then also the mineral mixture. Like this, it is a concentrate feed. So a premix, what is a premix? Is a uniform mixture of one or more micro ingredients with diluent and carrier. Then the premixers are used to facilitate uniform dispersion of the micro ingredients in a complete food, large quantity of the food, because many times if you mix a small quantity, then it may not be properly mixed uniformly throughout the feed when we are manufacturing the large quantity. Hence, the feed premixes are used, micro ingredients. Then the advantages of processing is to make more profit. Then after particle size, to alter the particle size. And for example, in case of the maize, the entire maize is not put. It is crushed into the smaller particles and later it is poured. And to change the moisture content, most of the time the feed ingredients, the moisture level will be as less as possible, which can be done by any means to change density of the food, because if the food is more and more dense, then the digestibility reduces. Then to increase the nutrient availability. So the thing is, sometimes if you value add that particular feed with the nutrients, especially the mineral mixtures and also the urea, etc., then it increases the nutrient availability to the animals. Then to detoxify or remove undesirable side effects of the food or to improve keeping qualities. Then also to reduce the molds, salmonella and other harmful bacteria which are present in the feed. So that is another thing which need to be seen, especially in case of the feed processing units. Then there are varieties of the processing methods, dry and wet processes. Moisture essential in some methods but may be detrimental to the others. Then apart from this one, there is cold or hot processes. In this process, the heat is applied on some methods but not utilized in all others. And if you apply the heat also, the digestibility of the food particle increases. But the disadvantage is there is chance that some of the nutrients may also be lost. And another thing is the additional cost of generating the feed, this heat or cold is also additional cost and it's also labor oriented. So both of these things need to be compared while processing the feed. So yesterday we have seen how a hay is to be prepared for the animals that are herbivorous, especially the ruminant animals. And today we can see the methods, especially how to process a roughage. Then we can soak, mix or spray the water on dry roughage so become soft and which improves the feed intake and digestibility. Then dry methods, yesterday we have already seen the baling, forage cut and dried in the feed condition and then baled or bundled with baler. Then the another method is chopping. So the food is finely chopped into smaller pieces as fine or coarse particles. Machine called chop cutter. These avoid the waste, improve the digestion, and everyone do contain the chop cutters nowadays. And always it's a beneficial method to make the food into smaller particles, especially the succulent fodder or the fodder stem with larger one. For example, the maize, South African tall maize, need to be chopped very well, then offered to the cattle. Then grinding is a process of particle size reduction. So it's a coarse grinding means sometimes the maize is having the particle size of about 10 millimeters. It need to be reduced to zero point 0.1 millimeter. So this improves the feed consumption and also the growth rate. When fine grinding reduces digestibility, then of the crude fibers. So fiber digestion is not a proper thing, especially in case of ruminants, and you properly grind it, then it becomes very properly grinded. Then pelleting. So pelleting is a process in which the food is pressed to the extent that it can occupy the minimum space, and a round or any other shaped pellet is formed, and it can be stored for longer duration than that of the regular feed. So it improves the consumption of the poor quality roughages. Size of the pellets, it need to be 12 to 64 inches to 48 to 64 inches, and has density of 40 lb CFT. So it is made under pressure. Always pelleting is done under pressure, and dehydration is a process of reduction of moisture content in the dehydrator using a temperature 600 to 15,000 Fahrenheit for a longer period of 3 to 5 minutes maximum. Then another technique known as the cubing technique. So this increases the density of refuges up to 30 lb per square feet. Wood quality hay is sprayed with water to increase the moisture content to the extent of 14%. So that is called as the cubing. Then grains processing method. So grains are always used in the cattle as a source of energy, as source of the protein, and also source of the vitamins, and also source of some of the trace minerals. So we need to process the grains in such a way that none of these are lost to the extent, and also highly it is made as the available or bioavailable to the ruminants. Then methods are dry grinding. It is the simplest and very commonly used technique among all the countries, including India. So the grinding is vary from fine to coarse because we have got different sieves, but medium fine grinding is best. Then increase the surface area, improves feed utilization. Then dry rolling is a method used for cracked grain are prepared by passing through a roller mill. Then properties of gain under dry rolling and grinding are very similar. Then popping or puffing is another process produced by action of dry heat at the rate of 350 to 450 degrees centigrade. It's a very high heat for just 15 to 20, 30 seconds. So sudden expansion of the grain it ruptures the starch granules, and also sometimes the it is easily digestible in the ruminal microflora. Then increased palatability and feed intake is increased by the extent of 5 to 10%. Whereas another process is called as micro ionizing. Same as popping, it's also done under the heat. Then, because of this thing, sudden expansion. For example, the popcorns. I think everyone knows the popcorns are the method of doing the popping. Then same as popping, except that it is provided in the form of the infrared energy other than the regular energy. Whereas the crimping is a process of rolling of feed ingredients with use of corrugated roller. That is called as the crimping. So crimping is a process of using some of the equipments for rolling the feed ingredients with the use of corrugated rollers. It's called as the crimping. You will see the photographs later. Then extruding is also another process of passing the grain or mixtures through a machine with a spiral screw that forces the grain through a trap head grain hair, then the mixed with other ingredients, producing the ribbon like products. So this is called as the gelatinization. During extruding, starch becomes soluble and absorb large quantities of the water and swells. So that is called as the extruding the feed. Roasting is the terminology. It is passing the grain through flame. It is passing through the food particles to the flame, and also at the rate of 149 degrees Celsius. Then inactivate the enzymes or inhibitory factors. Then the crumbles are granular particle size feed produced from grinding the pelleted feeds. Already it is pelleted, then it is once again grinded. That's called as the crumbling. And the soaking is a wet method. Grain is soaked for the 12 to 24 hours, especially in water and sometimes with heat, and softens the grain which sells during the process and making a palatable product. Whereas the steam rolling is a process in which grains are treated, especially with that of the a specific time depending upon the pressure used prior to the rolling, increase the gelatinization of the starch to the extent of 45 to 50%. Then steam flaking is a method with modification of steam rolling and increasing the amount of steam applied for the amount of the pressure. As the name indicates, it is a steam flaking. Also, it depends upon the time, temperature gain, moisture, roller size and tolerance and process rate, etc. And many more things are there. So, and another thing is the pressure cooking means, as we all know that we are also cook the rice, etc. in pressure. So here also the feed is cooked with live steam at the uh, pressure under 50 psi for the 1.5 minutes. It's a very short time actually. Then this then exploding, then subjected to high pressure 250 psi or pounds per square at about 20 seconds and followed by sudden decrease to the atmospheric pressure and similar to popped grain. Then pelleting, it is accomplished by the grinding with the feed and then forcing them to a die and causes the palatability, especially in case of the few of the fodder, etc. It is the palatability. So these are all the feed techniques, feed or the manufacturing technique, and we will see how these are going to be beneficial to the cattle, and also how these can use the animal to utilize highest hectare. Then pelleting, as you know very well, accomplished by grinding the feed ingredients, then forcing them through a die, increases the pelletability, alleviates the separation of ingredients and sorting. Then reconstitution is water is added to raise the moisture level to the extent of 25 to 30% and wet product in the oxygen limiting silo for 14 to 21 days and increases the solubility of the grain powder. Then operations in feed mill, number one, grinding, mixing, processing, and packaging. These are all the things which need to be operated in a feed mill. Then advantage of the feed mill increases the productive value of the feed, increases the consumption of the especially by the cattle, and enhances the palatability, means the taste of the food increases, enhances the digestibility of the feed, and also increases the nutritive value of the feed. If you feed the meal properly, then all this will happen. Whereas the particle size after grinding, etc., how much it should be there, and there are certain guidances how it should be there, etc. Then we will see what is this. So it is cutting. We need to cut or chop by forcing through a thin, sharp knife through the materials to be reduced, chopping up of the green fodder. Then crushing is also another thing in which the particle size is reduced due to the crushing. And shearing is a combination of cutting and crushing. Ensilage, cutter or rotary type of the knife, stationary bar, etc. are used here. Then impact grinding is most commonly used for reducing the particle size in the feed industry. Then hammer mills, jet mills, centrifugal input mills are used as in principle. Then the grinding is one of the process. Everyone knows this thing. And here in the top, a hammer mill is put in such a way that with the aid of rotating metal bars here, there is a metal bars that blow the ground product through the metal screen, and size of the product controlled by changing the screen size or the sieve here. Then grind anything from a coarse surface to any type of the grain. For example, significant amount of the dust is lost during the process, and the finished product usually dustier than that of a roller mill. So here you can see that the delivery system is here. Then the grains are put in the upper part. Then here are certain hammers are there. Uh, Always they will be hammering. Then a specific rod is rotating inside this thing. Then this is the screen or the sieve wherein which it passes the particle size. So the rotor assembly with a series of discs mounted on the horizontal shaft, free swinging hammers suspended from the rods, especially they are for uh, perforated screen and removal of the ground product, either gravity or by air assisted process. Then the roller mill. This is a photo of the roller mill here. Then what are all the things we can see is the whenever there is a coarse grains are there like barley and oats which are little bit harder than that of the other grains, then corrugated rollers are used to create a product called as the crimped grain here. So multiple rollers are there here, you can see, and the grain passes through the different type of the rollers. Roller mills not used in roughages especially, and rolls rotate at the same speed. Compression is the primary force here. Rollers rotate different speed, sharing plus compression are the forces used. So rolls are grooved sometimes, tearing and grinding components introduced. Then coarse grooves, then less size reduction, finer growth, more size reduction. Ultimately, the size depends upon the grooves in which it is made. Then mixing is a process of operation that would require a plant to define at it's a feed mill. Then the aim of mixing is to disperse the ingredient to certain assortment called as the formula, so that each small unit in the whole has the same proportion of ingredients as the original formula. So you can see here it's a vertical batch mixer and this is a horizontal block mixture. So this is just for mixing all ingredients very uniformly. Then vertical batch mixture is used in thousands of feed mill and the farms. This one, whereas they may be single screw, double screw, and these are relatively inexpensive, less expensive. This one, the first one, whereas they are little slower than that of the horizontal mixtures and are not used in larger feed mills. Always larger feed mills use the bigger one. It consists of a vertical bin tapering to a point at the bottom, a tube containing a vertical screw conveyor elevates and mixes the material as the mixture is uh, conveyed. Then repeated elevation of the product produces the binding, blending, and these unit range capacity from zero point 0.5 to 5 tons. Then horizontal mixtures are the one most commonly used in larger feed mills. For example, if a plant is manufacturing a ton of the feed every day, then horizontal mixer are used. And these are having the different structures, ribbon, etc. Then horizontal mixtures are double paddle, then ribbon blenders. So let us not go into the deep, especially how these are manufactured. And if you are interested, you can go for this thing. Then lot of pelleting machines are always there because it has become an important necessary process for densification of the material and for longer storage. However, pelleting increases the cost of machinery and is an element of very high energy, and also sometimes the molasses etc. are required. So this is also a pelleting mill. Different type of the pellets can be made, one, two, three, four, like this, and the coloring agents can also be added by using some of the accepted color. So these are the big plants in which the pellets are made. Then usually the raw materials are cleared, then crushed, mixed, pelletized, then cooled, then pellets crushing, then later bagging and pellet bags are formed. Whereas the corn can be hammered, then mixed, then pelleted, then the cooler in pelleted cooler, then pellet making machines will make the different type of the pellets. Then source of the refuges, especially to the cattle, dry and green fodder, then feed characteristic of the crop residues, as we know very well, and all these are used for preparation of the different type of the feed ingredients. And in spite of the poor nutritive quality, we can make them with different feed processing technique, so that the green fodder is 27 and 40%, especially, and optimizing animal productivity using poor quality roughage can be achieved by all this processing of the cross reduced residues. And also the feed processing of poor quality roughages is a very common thing that need to be adopted, especially in case of the different feed ingredients. And here you can see that the different types of the feed are used, especially in case of making the feed materials. So as explained, chaffing everyone knows. Busa making is another process because the grinding, then irradiation is another process which is not told earlier. So it's a process like X-ray and gamma rays breaks the lignocellulose and bone and improves the digestibility of the food. Then the water washing is one of the technique. All chopped straw is put in a water for 2 hours. Then it is washed thoroughly. Then many times the owners are also soaking the feed more than 3 to 4 hours. Then it gets smooth and saturated. Then increases in the voluntary take of the food. Then the densification, baling, then brick wetting is compression by the pressure to eat. Then pelleting is the chopping followed by grinding, bringing to the then feed blocks are also made using the forage and complete block. There are once again the drawbacks and the utilization or the positives, pros and consequences are also there. Then usually sometimes the drawbacks are low bulk density. Then there may be the energy droppage and energy intensive, and some of these are inefficient in crop residues. So the mechanical densification of powder is a value adding process in which the transport cost reduced in the storage space, safety in transportation is also done. Here you can see a machine which is operated hydraulic, then power pack is there, electric control panel, and the frame which makes the powder blocks, and this is very useful in case of the drawn prone areas. Then also these are all certain qualities of the feeds like the grain straw, wheat straw, paddy straw, and forest grass, etc. And sometimes this is also leading to the different type of the nutrient values. Densified fodder block technology is one of the fodder technology. It is very difficult to transport a distant parts easily and economically. Hence, it is densified. So, why we need to all these things is to make the cost more and more uh, the food more and more palatable to reduce the cost at the time getting very good order handling and to avoid sustainable livestock production. Then there is a definition called as total mixed ration, or we have the short term to this one, TMR. Everywhere now it is being very popular. Total milk or ration is also another thing. Then 1 day complete ration pack with all ingredients like a pellet, then also the source of the protein like cakes. Different types of the cakes are there. Then maize is also there for providing the energy. Then complete feed block machine is devised by different type of the agencies, and here you can see that different feed blocks are made for the better storage quality, especially to using during the dry type soil. Then advantage of complete block is the non-conventional, less palatable feeds can be converted to more palatable. Then the during the storage, prepared feed blocks require one third less space, and transportation of such block is convenient and trouble free, and reduces the transportation cost, reduces the storage cost. The palatability is also being increased. Then this prevents the loss of lighter weight. Usually, the complete feed blocks are utilized, increase in the feed intake, no effect in the digestibility. Then the parameters of feed blocking are usually a mesh, which is used having different type of the sizes, and the block is to contain the 8 gram per day, and it's also 5.9 per day in a mesh. So then all the animals can be fed with such type of the uh, especially the type of the DCP, TDM, weight gain, etc. will be increased to the greater extent. And some of the time the refuges are also treated with alkalis, and they make ester linkage of the straw. And we are going to add the sodium hydroxide as an alkali to make the straw more and more digestible, then also it should be more and more palatable to the cattle. And calcium hydroxide is also treated to some of the fodder, dissolved in 100 liter of water, then sprinkled on 100 kg of the straw. So this is one of the enrichment of the fodder. But this is cost is high and low suitability in water solubility. So ammonia treatment is another method. Then ammonia is passed through the hay and digestibility of the straw. It improves the nitrogen content. Then the drawbacks of ammonia is very costly. Then no freely available. Transportation gaseous ammonia is difficult, need much care, and the skilled laborers are also very much required. So how ammonia will help is the urea is converted to ammonia plus carbon dioxide, and 4 kg of urea is dissolved in 40 kg of the water. Usually 1 kg is equal to 1 liter. So 4% solution of the urea is has to be made, and it need to be sprayed uniformly over 100 kg of the straw or a usha. Preserve the treated material under airtight conditions using plastic sheets for 3 weeks in hot season, then 4 to 5 weeks in case of the cold season can also be done. Then the benefits of urea ammonia, always it is a beneficial process, and even many think that it is having a lot of side effects, etc. But nothing is like that. And preservation of the high moisture material is also can be achieved by relative uh, inexpensive. So this is a urea molasses wheat bran feed lot. So the shelf life of this feed is drastically it is going to increase. Then energy sources of the fodder, then nutrition sources, non-proteinous nitrogen, vegetable or the true protein, and also from animal origin nitrogenous substances. Then apart from this one, the common side mineral mixture, then a toxin binder is also added to the uh, commonly used feed. And here you can see that different types of the ingredients. Then we need to maintain each and every sample whenever we have done in a larger scale of the manufacturer of the feed. Usually the energy source is here molasses or sugar cane or sugar beet, which is also available ever, can be used for feed block, but cane molasses is better than the beet molasses because there is sticky in nature and very good pellets will be formed. And sometimes if there are no other thing like molasses, the jaggery can also be added, which is required very much for the bacterial fermentation method as a source of energy. Then NPNs, non-proteinous nitrogens. So always it is urea. Vegetable of true protein, de-oiled rice, these cakes and meal can be used. And de-oiled soybean seed meal is the best choice, but instead of mustard cake. Then mineral sources: calcium, phosphorus, vitamin C, D, E3, and dolomite is a complex of the carbohydrates of calcium, magnesium. So it can calcite can also be used in case of the dolomite. So the structural compounds are need to be different structural and soluble carbohydrates, and wheat bran can be replaced by any of the feed ingredients like de-oiled rice bran DORB, then mixture of DORB and RB or rice polishes. Then malt sprouts, bruised barley byproducts, which is mixture of barley. bran and husk. So binder, several inorganic binders like the cement, gypsum, bentonite, etc. are usually put. But we in our formulations usually organic binder is used. So different types of the binders, and it is molasses, urea granules, then urea solutions may also be used. Then dolomite is used, vitamin and mineral mixture, gum, garchari, and these are all the feed ingredients which is used in differ and type of the things. What are all the gadgets required for a preparation of a feed is storage bands, balance or weighing scale, heating device, maybe LPG gas, wood or coal, stove electric heater, then wooden or the iron molds, feed block press machine, hand operated screw types. Then also some of the dryers are used. Here you can see the collapsible iron mold and screw type block press machine. Farmers feed block pressure easily he can also do using certain simpler equipments. Of course, these need to be improvised a lot for the electric pressuring. Here you can see the mold cabin made up of a wood. Then low cost solar feed block or else it can also dry. Then mixing of the ingredients is first process, then processing the ingredient mixture is to be done, dry it under pressure, then pack it and sell it. Mixing of ingredient is a proper method. Many times if we do not properly mix the feed ingredients like the urea and also for sometimes the other materials or mineral mixtures, they may not be available to the highest extent to the cattle. And usually the granular urea or steel, it can be used in case of a steel container and heat in it with 500 ml of water till it dissolves. Avoid overheating and pour the solution into a plastic tub containing 10.4 kg of molasses. Then mix it very properly and steel spoon. So this is a mixture preparation: 1 kg commercial salt, 1 kg vitamin mineral mixture, and 1 kg dolomite lime. As this is maybe important for the poultry industry feed makers, or else the small farmers cannot afford all these things because it is not naturally available in the roadsides. It's an abnormal thing. Then apart from this one, the mixing of the urea is one of the oldest technique, and urea is converted to ammonium carbon dioxide, as everyone know it very well. So there is one of the process like the actually measure 7.4 kg of the bran, then in large slide plastic tub, put it in a plastic tub, then add soybean meal or many oil cakes. Don't need to make them, mix them very thoroughly. Usually at the end of the feed, gavar will be sprinkled in an organized dairy farm, and it also gives 5% extra consumption rate with the advance or model this modern technology. The processing of the ingredients also say that about 2.350 kg of above mixture has to be united together and serve the army. So this is the feedback unit photo. Allow 3 to 4 hours because it need to be show especially interpreted very properly. Here, certain alternative mixture can be processed under the too much pressure in the wooden mold. So, drying or preserved material, usually the solar drying is also used. That is, instead of electricity waste, this can be used or the LPG. The dried blocks should not contain more than 15% moisture. Then prototype solar dryer, hybrid type solar dryer, low cost feedback dryers are also used. Then packing, finally, one need to pack it properly, dry it. 10 blocks can be packed in a printed jute bag or a paper cartoon. Heifers and milk cows eat always the feed blocks. They lick it and eat it slowly. Then Tharparkar cow licking wheat bran and molasses black because they like it very nicely. Buffaloes are little sensitive animals. It is difficult to make them to take the feed, but the buffalo feeding as one time it is going to increase the dairy outputs by 23%. Then feed block faced with Marwari sheep licking the block because the sheep and cattle nowadays it is becoming difficult thing for the government for giving all this free of cost. Horse licking, urea free liquid or the feed block can also be fed to the horses in ad libitum quantity. Pots can also be made to take the urea-free liquid block. There are few precautions while enriching the fodder with that of the urea or molasses. Many things we need to observe that newer feed to usually if we do not process the urea and one should never cross 116 gram of urea per adult cattle and 10 grams for the sheep and provide sufficient water and uniform mixing the urea is essential to avoid urea toxicity. Then avoid dietary inclusion of urea immediately. Urea toxicity may also occur if more and more ammonia is absorbed into the circulation, then it needs to be discarded. So, coming to the conclusion, availability of the nutrients in fodder is the biggest constraint of the animal production throughout India and every state of the country. Then crop, there is a wide gap of the demand and supply. There is a wide gap of the demand and supply of the quality roughage in everywhere. Not only the crop residues are also can be used. So that's about the today's topic. And what we can see is there is a big gap between this fodder available and also the requirement by the cattle. And we need to focus more and more production of the green grass. Then apart from this one, anything, it's need to be very scientific in nature. Without guessing, etc., we cannot make it. Thank you very much for the patient hearing. Then thanks a lot for being with me about 1 hour.